gave that some disabled
Hey, Rosie.
I still have the coffee for this.
How's it going?
Furniture that I had
Oh,
when
baby.
Jim was here.
How's the baby?
That's good. Then you don't have to
I get you on film. Yeah, here.
Oh, trust me, there are days it's something pizza memory, and I think about it.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
You know, I wish it would because it's really not healthy.
No, it can't be. He was a piece of work.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Check it out. Yeah, it's my babies.
You look at the temperatures in Las Vegas, and they're like 125 or 119. Dry, you got dry.
Oh, he won't. He'll be air conditioning.
Okay. Hey, baby. Oh, and look, Juliana's finally eating. Look at that. Hi, baby. How you feeling?
I just found my birthday.
Better? Where's Eli at? Laying down in the bedroom? Living room?
And he finally got the picture. Got himself into a pickle with his brother for some shady, all that shady shit.
Hey.
You know, I prayed for 3 years. I told you this. I'll tell you over and over.
Grandbaby.
I prayed for 3 years for God to get
Now you're on camera. Now I recorded my wife. Now you look beautiful. Absolutely stunning. The entire woman in the...
Mom, you're so pretty. Shut up.
You are the most...
Do not show people that.
It's going out on the internet.
No,
Sorry.
hell no.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's going on my YouTube channel.
I want to see.
It's on the YouTube channel. Yeah. There's the changing table thing that I was talking about. This is excellent. Great, great. There's this pacifier. But this, can you believe this garbage? They expect you to be able to support a baby in that. That just isn't going to happen. See that? There's no way. And remember how I said it just clamps on there? That's all it does. So flimsy. You can't carry nobody in that. Do that, it'll fall. It's hoopty looking. But it's okay because then you can lay there and you can play with that stuff at least. You know what I mean? So that's pretty decent. Here is where we changing table, and you see he's got stuff we can put right up there. So, and then it's got this little thing. But you know, and then there's the battery. Put the batteries in there, and then you turn it on, and it's supposed to be able to see, light up and play music and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we didn't do anything with it because, well, he's not into that sort of thing yet. So, and this is where we put him. So rest in that. He's got a little thing you can sleep in. Juliana's staying right here with him for the time being. There's all the baby clothes stuff. So yeah, it's something else. He's got himself a pretty decent digs. Here's Rosie's play area, and there's Rosie.
He's so funny.
There's Rosie. You want some more stuff? Okay.
Stinker. He finds stuff at my house I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
He found Tony's lost glasses, and I thought I had vacuumed and everything. Still trying to look into the apartment.
Who, Blakey?
Oh, no.
Well, I have a few things I can bring. You know, I haven't really had much time. They keep conditioning up so much since they came out of it.
Here's some more stuff for you.
The clothes that they used to have in aren't there. They hardly have any.
Oh, baby.
It's kind of downside. They didn't really have. I saw some princess dresses, but they were.
Here's Rosie. Eating away. Had to get her hay. That's why I put you guys down. And she's liking that. So, gotta go, Rosie. Love ya.
put everything out.
This goes out,
So, I mean, I do have a thing.
honey?
Yeah.
Alright, alright, so now that my wife's pissed at me for recording her, I'm coming outside. Okay, so what I do is I put my boxes out here. For those of you that aren't familiar with what we do, I bring the boxes out, and I got boxes out here that has obviously some stuff in. Yeah, and it moved. Must have been slightly windy, but so yeah, you can see the weather warmed up today, big time. Boy, did it ever. The stairs all melted off, and the back deck here, still a little icy in spots, and there's still a little stuff here. But yeah, it looks like spring's on its way. Got some more precip in the forecast. There's the shed, which you can't even see because of how dark it is. Yeah, animals are running today, of course, because the weather was nice. You can see there's my footprints going all the way out there and then coming back and then going out again and coming back. I do a lot of going out there. I don't know if you can make out the fire pit or not, but the fire pit's on the other side of the pool there. Yeah, I don't even know if you can see the pool. It's the shadowy thing. Anyway, pool still got ice and snow and everything else in it. And yeah, that's where I take the cardboard and stuff like that. People are, oh, you should recycle all that. And most of the time they don't even recycle cardboard. A lot of these people that say recycle, they send the cardboard to these dealerships, you know, to do recycling, and you think they're going to recycle it, and what they do is they just landfill it in a certain area, and then that's about it. It's not a big, huge process that most people think. The only ones that really recycle cardboard are like some of these major companies that go around and actually have cardboard bins where they collect it in the back of these huge, and I've seen them load them on, and the bales, they do recycle big giant bales of cardboard. They do recycle a lot of the cardboard that's used in some of these manufacturing companies and places like that. But and I'm not criticizing them, but for the average home use and homeowner and stuff like that, a very little of it is actually recycled. The only reason I know that is I've talked to some people that are in sanitation, and they go around and they collect that kind of stuff, and they told me that a lot of it's just landfilled. It's neat the way they do it because certain stuff goes in certain areas and then they rotate it and stuff like that at these different landfill sites. But for the most part, a lot of it isn't recycled, and it's kind of upsetting because, you know, you expect when it says recycle, put your recycles, separate your recycles into different bins in different areas. You kind of get the idea that you're doing something good for the environment. And you know, hindsight's always 20/20, you know. But you know, and I don't mean to spoil it for a lot of you guys, but you know, in all actuality, unless your company that you know does put forth the effort as to actually taking it to a recycling place where they actually do the recycling themselves, a lot of these, especially these smaller companies, don't have the means, don't have the opportunity just to go and drop it off. It's not like they get paid extra money for it, and they should. I mean, they should. You know, it's a positive thing for the environment. You know, some of these mom and pop sanitation companies should get some kind of kickback for taking their recycling stuff in, but they really don't. It actually costs them more in the long run, and that's pretty sad. That's the sad part about it. But because it does tell them that they have to separate it, they separate it, and where it goes from there, really isn't their deal. But so what I do is I burn the cardboard, and I to get my fires going, and I utilize another aspect, some of the stuff that from my job that pretty much is waste. They can't really recycle it, can't really use it. They can't really utilize it in an avenue that would be good for the consumer and good for the company. So a lot of the stuff that's going to be totally wasted, I get to take if I ask. I have to ask, of course. You never take anything without permission. But I ask them, hey, can I have this, or can I take this? And we don't actually have this. Can I use it? Now, if I was a smart individual, which I'm not, I could probably build some kind of rinky-dink trinket or something like that out of it. But I don't have the means, the know-how, or the tools, or equipment, or anything for any of that. So most of the stuff I take, when it's given to me, is burnt in the fire pit, and it helps burn major stuff like I don't know if you can see it or not, but over there I got a giant tree that I've been working at taking down. So work went pretty good. I was supposed to be done at 6 today, which was kind of unique. It didn't go that way because I had just done my report, and I've got a report I got to do now. It's called a 5.9. So I do my 5.9 report, and then I try to find everything I can find on the report and verify it. And I don't know. I just can't find everything on the list, and it gets kind of aggravating. So I did the 5.9 report, and I went looking for it, and I was nowhere to be found, and a bunch of it. And the stuff I did find, of course, I came up with a process with my boss, and he said, just circle if you find it. If you don't find it, don't circle it. If you find something that's got a different amount on it, write the amount that you find, and make sure to verify, it's called a lot code ID number. So I check that and make sure I'm looking at the right thing, and then I write down the amount. If the amounts aren't the same, if they are the same, I just circle it and go on to the next one. The really cool thing about that 5.9 report is it's in numerical order. So, I don't have to sit there and keep thumbing through, going through. I just kind of look at the number and go, oh, okay, this is like number 201. I just look for 201 on the list, and there it is. Numbers all match. Cool. On to the next one. But the bad part is I had a lot of stuff sitting there today, and I tried to get through as much as I could. And I feel bad just leaving it sitting on his desk when I can't find everything. But, what else am I going to do? I mean, if you can't find it, you can't find it, And it's not because I didn't look. But as I'm doing the report, and I start doing a bunch of the counting, and I'm finding some stuff that I hadn't counted before because I didn't know where it was at, of course, somebody decides they needed something. And that's my job, My job is a variety of things. One is to go, make sure they get what they need. 2 is to put the new stuff away and see where it needs to go. If it can go out, we put it out. If it doesn't, it's got to be relocated. So, that's pretty much my job in a nutshell, Well, some guy decided he needed something for his department, so I had to go back there and write it down and verify what he had and what he was taking, and write it down on a separate piece of paper, and then go back to my counting, and that took like, I don't know, it took like 10-15 minutes because I had to stop what I was doing, walk all the way back there. It probably only took like maybe 5-10 minutes to do, but with that, and then I had to remember where I was at. That's always fun. It's like, okay, where did I leave off at? But long story short, I was about 15 minutes late clocking out. So, and the guy I usually talk to about when I'm leaving and everything else wasn't there. I don't know if he was in another department or what, but so I just went and I talked to somebody else that was in charge, and I'm like, I just clocked out, I'm heading out. And told them what I was done. I told them I got cleaned up and emptied the trash, and batting cleanup. That's basically all I do is batting cleanup. It's at the end of the day, there's a lot less stuff going in and out. It's easier to get a good count of what was left behind. And that's a very important job. It really is, and I feel kind of honored that my job entrusts me with that kind of responsibility. Especially since I have only been there a short period of time. And like my boss said, hey, you got to learn how to do this. You really do. I'm like, okay, I got no problem with it. And, he explained why my time of the shift is probably the best time to do it, because then I can verify at the end that, this is plugged in, this is charging, this is not there, that is there, I found this, I found that, We've got other things I got to go through later on, and he's going to show me more details, but, on other stuff I got to do, and, ways to track down where it's at, or if it was worked at all, or it's kind of crazy. Really it is. It's learning a computer system that you're really not familiar with, and for those of you that use a Mac, or those of you that use an IBM, if I were to take you and just throw you on the other system and say, hey, figure out how to do this, and then take you off those systems and throw you on like a DOS system, you'd be like, holy smokes, I just got used to doing the Mac, let's say, and now I'm using an IBM or a regular PC, and now you're throwing me at this other thing, wow, okay. And then you're at a point, when you're first starting out too, you're always concerned that I don't want to screw this up. I got to make sure I do it right, and then after a while, it's just like, oh, okay, this is what I got to do. No problem. And it's a new experience. It's definitely a learning experience for me. And like I said, I feel honored that they trust me to be doing that kind of stuff. And it's kind of weird because at my previous job I was at, it was all just work, hard work, strenuous work. Basically from the time I got in there to the time I left, it was always strenuous. I was always busting my butt to try to do everything I can, and now it's like, oh, about a third of my day is spent either using a keypad, typing something in, writing something down, visually verifying it, or recording this, and it's just weird because, or making a new label. Literally about a third of my day is spent doing that, and between doing that and running my lift back and forth and moving this and moving that, I am busy from the time I get there to the time I leave, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same type of work. It's not, it's a definite change. In some cases, it's a better change. It really is. In other cases, I've had to become more versatile. I was never a big, huge fan of sitting at the computer for like 3-4 hours at a time, and in this job, I don't have to. I don't have to sit there for 3 or 4 hours at a time. I sit there for a little bit, and then I'm doing something else. Then I come back and I'm on another project, and I'm sitting there for a little bit longer, typing something away, or finalizing something. Then I'm on to another thing, So in the aspect I look at it, it's like the perfect job for me. You know, I get the physical workout. You know, they're paying me to work out. They're paying me to stay active. Then I don't mind driving and operating power equipment. So that's a huge plus. And you know, I've been pretty much using power equipment and stuff like that for what, years. So it's kind of nice to be able to take something I've done for years and put it to work. You know, make it work for me. That's nice. And the number one, I've always been about safety. You know, safety is the most important thing. You know, don't hurry through to the point where you could injure somebody or hurt somebody, because you know, the few seconds longer you take to move something or to transport something could literally mean the difference between life and death. You know, and it's amazing how much my job correlates with driving a vehicle, a regular vehicle. You know, you could speed through the intersection driving your vehicle, and you could sideswipe and kill somebody because you were in such a big hurry. You know, you weren't paying attention. You know, the job I do at my employment, you know, it's the same thing. You know, in this case, it's you know, pedestrians I'm looking out for. You know, when I drive my kids to school in the morning, it's cars. You know, I'm looking out for cars. I'm watching the action and the reaction of those people around me, you know. And you can always tell when somebody's like not paying attention to the road, or they're like, I don't know, maybe they're on their phone, or, you know, they drop something or whatever, but the vehicle starts to drift, you know. And there's always that little drift that people got anyway when they're driving. But I'm talking definite. You can see it from a distance, so you kind of can anticipate to a point of what they might do. So, you know, you could try to be that speed demon and zip past them when they're driving kind of erratic like, which isn't always good, because what happens if all of a sudden they start drifting to one side of the road and they realize, oh shoot, I'm too far over, and they quick grab the wheel and they jerk back and jerk right into you because they weren't paying attention, you know. So speeding past them is not always a good thing. Sometimes it's best just to kind of let up on the gas and stay behind the individual till you get up to a stoplight or something. You know, and being in the town here, there's always a stoplight not too far away. So, you know, you pull up next to them at the stoplight, the light turns green. Don't get in front of them, like right in front of them, because if they're not paying attention, they'll rear-end you, you know. Get as far away from them as possible within the confines of the law, you know. Mark and avoid kind of thing, which is a biblical thing. But I suppose I kind of talked your guys' ear off. I got my mom to work on time. You saw Eli's home. You saw Juliana, she's here, and they're both doing pretty good. You know, they both kind of got the sniffles, and I don't know if it's allergies or the cold in the weather or what, but, you know, I'm going to end off with this, pointing out the fact that the animals are running tonight, and with the fairly decent weather, it's definitely understandable. Yeah, that's why I stopped earlier, as I heard something running. Well, I love you guys. You guys are the best, and thank you for watching and subscribing and tuning in every now and again. I appreciate it. I know I kind of have a boring life, but, you know, there are little tidbits of stuff you can learn that I share throughout the videos. And for anybody that watches on a routine basis, I hope you take a lot of what I've shared with you to heart. And for those of you that are new to the channel, if you're interested and you like what you see, subscribe. I'm basically just throwing my life out there so you guys get a chance to see it. Props go out to everybody that celebrated Valentine's Day. Props also goes out to the people that decided, hey, I'm saving my money and I'm going to give her the gifts tomorrow because you know what, they're going to be cheaper tomorrow. Either way, it's always good to recognize the ones you love, in however way, shape, form you do it. It's pretty pointless to not do it, you know. You always appreciate people. You have to. Especially those that you love and care so much about. Whether it's through gifts, dinner, sitting down quiet time in a movie, or just, you know, doing something special, doing some chores around the place. It doesn't matter. As long as you're showing your appreciation for the ones you love, that's the important thing. And that's the note. That's the final thing I want to end off with you guys tonight about is the time you spend with people is time well spent. It's never good to be alone. My dad realizes that now, I think. But you know, it's always good. It's always the best to have somebody to share it with. So, well, I love you guys. Hang in there. Have a great night. Enjoy your day. And I'll send you another video tomorrow. Take care and happy 15th now.